This is Ian Bryce again with Under the Tree. How's everyone doing? Great, I'm sure. All right, so I got another guest here for you. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. All right, so what would you like us to call you? Now I'll tell you what the theme is. The theme is either it was started off as superhero theme, then it just became any kind of character you wanted, then anything you want at all, or just your real name. So your choice.
I'll do my real name. That's fine.
Okay. All right. All right. So, hi, Jennifer. How's it going today?
It's going. It's great. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here today. We just had some questions for you, trying to get to know Shelly as a person. I went to high school with her, but I really didn't know her like that. But I know a lot. I'm close with a lot of people that knew her pretty well. So that's why I took so much interest in it.
Yeah.
So can you just describe your first meeting of Shelly? Where did you meet? How did you meet?
We also went to high school together. I believe she was in my ninth grade English or math class. I believe. I if I went to school.
Did you showed up? Okay.
Yeah, if I showed up, yeah, she was in one of those classes. I was one of those kids, so yeah, that
Okay.
was
All right. I was at that school then too. Who were your teachers?
that's a good question. I have no clue.
Okay.
I was at First Colonial High School for just a hot second. Like, not, I was a trouble kid, got in a lot of trouble, showed up when I wanted to. I mean, and I was legally in trouble. So,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll get into that. So, were you guys friends in ninth grade? Like, did you hang out?
Not friends. I mean, kind of like just an association,
Mm-hmm.
associate. Just, she was in one of my classes. We would talk once in a while. I really got to know her later when we were both in trouble by the law.
Uh-huh.
um, so yeah, not really in school. I mean, the only friends I had in high school were my elementary school friends, um, and a really, really, really close friend I known since I was 5, and we got in trouble together. So it wasn't like I was trying to pick up new friends, or I was in kind of my own bubble, my own world. So um, we weren't, we weren't really close or any of that. But prior to being incarcerated.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get into that then. So, tell me how if you want to share your story about this is juvenile detention we're talking.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, your
Because
story,
we were,
juvenile detention, and then you meeting Shelly from that point.
yeah. If I can remember, this was so long ago. And all of it's kind of a blur, I guess. Once you go through stuff like that, you kind of,
Yeah.
erase it out of your mind. And I just remember, yeah, me and my best friend that were in trouble together were in the detention home. She was there too, and it was funny because I was like, "Oh, I know you. You were in my class." I never knew her name was Mary. We always called her Shelly
Mm-hmm.
until later in life. But yeah, we were incarcerated together. It was me and my friend and her kind of clicked. Lunchtime, whatever, our free time, we would hook up and just talk. And it's funny because we created a club or group called
We're not gonna say
PGG.
gang, right? Right. We're just saying.
No, definitely
Okay.
not. Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
And we called it PGGP.
I'm sorry. PGGP. Is that what you said?
Yes. And sadly, I don't know if she did it, but I know I did it, and my friend did it. We carved that on the top of our foot, like,
Uh huh.
and while we were incarcerated. I probably still have the scar. Like, it's vague, but it's there. Um, yeah. I don't know if I want
What
to
did that
say
stand for?
Playgirl Gangster Pimps.
Yeah. But not gang. Yes, I get it. I
And
understand.
we were just talking like, hey, we're gonna have this proof when we get out, and like it's gonna be the three of us, and I don't know, yeah, because in the kind of trouble I was, I got locked up for a long time, for stealing and whatever stuff. So I was gone for a long time, but uh, of course we were incarcerated together. I don't remember why, her why. I know my why. Um, yeah. So I mean, it was probably only a brief period of time that we were locked up together because then I got sent upstate to like a more severe facility, I guess you call it, to Culpeper, Virginia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. I currently live in Texas now. I recently, or I moved around October of 2005. So,
Okay.
and oddly, and I listened to your podcast before, so recently, so that I can get familiarized with
Yeah,
what
we
information's out
appreciate
there.
that here.
What's that?
We appreciate that here. Yeah, listen.
Yeah. So I listened to it to kind of get the feel and the information that's out there. And 7-Eleven was brought up. And I was like, weird. I worked at that 7-Eleven right by her.
Oh.
I actually worked at the 7-Eleven at the oceanfront, then was transferred because I moved to an apartment complex close to Pembroke Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my memory's not great. So I'm trying to think where I was. Um, and I was actually, well, it could have been before that. So I was actually called in to help out at that 7-Eleven, because they were shorthanded. And I remember seeing her flyer on the door of the 7-Eleven with a reward. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I know her. I
That's
know her.
how you found out with the flyer on the door.
That's how I found out she passed away.
Wow.
And then obviously I was like, oh my gosh, we were locked up together. She was my classmate. What the heck happened? Am I here because the person that worked at 7-Eleven was not there?
Mm-hmm.
So I was
Right.
trying to
Right.
like put things together. Like, yeah. So that's kind of how, I mean, obviously we met in school, but I was barely at school. So it was kind of like, oh, I'm here today in this class. I see you. I'll sit next to you, whatever. But outside of that and being incarcerated, really, we never got to hang out, obviously.
That was my question. So you never got to, after getting out, you guys never got to meet up again.
No, because then I was sentenced to 2 years. I got 18 months on good behavior. So by that point, I was in like a halfway home to bring me back into the community in a sense. And then I guess that was probably 05, 04, 05. Yeah, 05. Because I too got my GED. So I went off to, see, I don't even know names. It's right off Virginia Beach Boulevard.
The Adult Learning Center.
Adult Learning Center. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, there you go. You're sparking memories. So yeah, I graduated there early, actually. I graduated in November, December of 05.
Okay.
And then I moved to Texas in 06. So that's only really the information I know. Obviously there were conversations I don't know if I want to release that we had.
You do.
And it's weird to hear her boyfriend at the time speak about cigarettes, and because I just remember her like, when I get out, I just want a carton of cigarettes. I don't want to have to like go to the store, and we were underage. So, and I smoked too at the time, I'd steal cigarettes from my mom and like any other teenager would. And I just remember,
she really liked cigarettes.
Oh yeah. She was like, when I get out, I'm buying a carton of cigarettes. Like that stuck in my mind. Yeah. So it's sad to hear that, that night she was probably going out to buy a pack of smokes and, yeah, but I don't know what questions. Maybe you can spark my memory. I really don't have much
So you said
information.
7-Eleven. So yeah, I wanted to know, was that guy still working there? I don't know if you knew him. His name was Matt, the one we referred to as Mr. Slushy.
And that nickname sounds so familiar,
Uh-huh.
but I can't put a face
Okay.
to a name because, obviously so long ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
That's fine.
I mean, if you have a picture, maybe I could recognize his
Okay,
face,
we'll
but
talk. I'll send you one offline. See that.
okay.
So when you were in the detention center with Shelly, what kind of person was she? What did she like to eat? What did she like to do? What was the fun stuff about
I mean, very outgoing. I mean, we hit it off really well. I was super shy in middle school, and I kind of came out of my shell in high school, and I met her in high school. So she, um, I mean, outgoing. We got along. I don't know necessarily favorite foods and all of that because when you're young and in trouble, you're just kind of, hey, we're gonna, click up. And it was, our first time being locked up, so
her?
it's a scary situation. So you're like, hey, we're friends while we're in here.
Right. Right.
And you don't get a lot of, like time outside of your cell to like kind of mingle. So like, it was like brief periods of time that we would hang out.
Did she ever talk about anything, her life outside the cell, or what led her to be there? Or
I can't remember what led her to be there. Um, like all of us, I think she smoked weed. Um, just was, sneaking out, like just the regular teenage stuff, I don't remember why she was there. Um, yeah, I don't.
okay. Did she was she very popular in the detention? Was she getting into fights? What kind of person?
No, yeah, she was not a fighter. Not a fighter whatsoever. And neither am I. So like I think that's why we got along because we kind of had the same um I guess, we just want to do our time and get out kind of thing.
Right.
And
Right.
I just remember her being like, I don't have much time here. I can't wait till I get out. We were planning on hooking up when we got out and just, you know, being my new best friend, other than my other friend that I knew since I was 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Did let's see here. Did she ever share anything of her goals or anything after she got out? I know she won that carton of cigarettes. Did she want anything? Any other goals, a little more than that she was
I
ever shooting?
know. Honestly, I wish I could remember more, and it sucks that I don't. Um, and maybe I just kind of blocked out that portion of my life because I was going through my own,
Right.
you know, stuff.
Do you remember talking about any people outside that she was close to, or any, complaining about parents, or loving my parents, or what dog
I know
pets?
her parents were together for a long time. Like she grew up in a really good household, or
Mm-hmm.
I grew up with a single mother, abusive father, drug addict, So I think from my perspective, she had a stable home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe she lived in a trailer park. Is that correct?
No,
No.
no,
Okay.
no. No, she came from like a
Never.
pretty actually well off area.
I thought at one point she did, and then yeah, maybe I'm wrong. See, my memory doesn't
Well,
serve
yeah.
me.
Well, also, what kind of image was Shelley trying to portray? I mean,
She had
statistically,
a loving family, and she had a mom and
yeah,
dad
okay.
that were together. Yeah, for a while at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Just your typical Virginia Beach family.
Did she ever share that she was adopted to you all?
No, was she adopted?
Yes, she was.
I did not know that.
And she was adopted.
If she told me that, then it's gone out of my memory. But no, I
Yeah,
did not know
I'm
that.
also an unwanted baby, so I know. So I understand how you
Yeah,
feel, like single mom. But yeah, yeah, somebody picked her out, right? And
yeah, yeah. Huh, I
brought
did
her
not know
home.
that.
Yeah, she seemed to be loved.
Yeah, and she's very sweet. Like she was very kind-hearted, sweet, and but also outgoing and um yeah, I it's sad what happened, obviously, and tragic, and I wish and by you having this podcast, I'm hoping more people you could find more people that might have information that might be so minuscule, but it could add to finding information, you know.
Yeah, right. That's a good
Um
idea.
yeah.
Um, so any kind of did Shelly just stick with you two in the PPG? Is that was did I get that right? The PPG
P
girls?
P P G G P.
PGGP. All right. Just was it just you two, or did you ever see her venture off to any other?
Yeah, no, it was like us. We were like, yeah, the clique,
You're the
us
trio,
three.
right?
Yeah,
At each other's backs.
yeah.
That's great.
And I wish I remembered more because, you know, we were just like, oh, when we get out, we're going to be best friends. And fortunately, that never happened. But yeah, I knew her a short period of time before I got transferred. Um, and I don't know if you know how long she was locked up, but
No, we don't.
um,
Wish we did. We're working on that.
yeah. And being a juvenile, I'm sure it's kind of hard to dig up
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, it's all protected.
Yeah, because we were young. I mean, what were we, 14 at the time? Yeah, I think we were 14.
Because I think we did end that she left maybe in about 10th grade. So she's like 15. We're 15 and a half ish. So that's when she like officially I think dropped out.
Okay.
Do her GED and start working.
Yes, yeah, I was already upstate at that point. So, yeah, I just fell so far behind in school because I wasn't there. I was forced to get my GED.
Listen, I was there, but I didn't listen either. So it's okay. I
Yeah.
graduated with a 1.7.
Oh, well, hey, you made it
ACS.
through.
Yeah. did I did make it through, I guess. But
Yeah.
okay. So did Shelly ever imply that she, was doing anything illegal, besides the weed or, smoking underage? Did she ever say that she did anything else? Had a history of anything else?
Not specifically, no, that I can remember. Um, obviously, like all of us teenagers, we experiment. I don't think she was like on drugs or maybe she sold drugs like here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Weed, maybe. I can't, specifically say if there was anything else. Um, I know she was kind of, and I want to say a name, but I don't want to say it
You're welcome to say
because I
first
can't.
names here.
Um, only because I don't know if it's just stuck in my brain because it's true or I don't want to give wrong information. Um, but I remember her hanging out with a guy, and I don't know his name. And they're two different. I think one was Jeremy,
Okay.
I think is a guy. And I keep wanting to say that name, but I don't know if necessarily that's true. That's just what keeps popping up in my head.
Okay.
Um, and I know, yeah, it was a black guy that she was running with at one point. I don't know his name. Um, yeah, I wish I knew more. Like I said in the beginning, I don't know how much help I would be just because I was, running around doing things I
Well, that
should
does
have
bring
been
me to
doing.
my next question, about boys. Did it seem like Shelly had a lot of boyfriends, and also were these
Um,
gentlemen like around her age or older, or what did she?
yeah, around her age. I don't know if they were necessarily boyfriends, just like guy friends that she would hang out with, and I too. Um, I didn't hang out with a lot of girls. They could be challenging. So I stuck with my best friend that I've known since 5, and
Mm-hmm.
then of course, I met Shelly. But yeah, she had a lot of guy friends, as so did I, and I think we kind of knew, kind of associate by association, some of the guys. But man, it's been so long. I can't even. Yeah, I remember specifically who, um, which I don't know if that helps.
Hey, I might. You said Jeremy. If I another person was like, oh yeah, I know, remember a Jeremy. So you
Yeah,
just spit it out, and it might
yeah,
be. See if it's. We'll see if it sticks. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So the media has tried to portray her as someone that had a lot of sexual partners at the time of her death. Did she ever talk about losing her virginity, not being a virgin, having tons of sex? Did she ever mention any of those things?
I don't want to put her in a bad light. I really
It's
don't.
okay. It's okay. Listen, we want the truth. The
I
kind of.
mean, yes, not that they were boyfriends, but yes, multiple.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where that PGGP kind of came into play, because we're like, oh, if we can pimp some girls out and make money, we know the guys.
Uh-huh. If they're doing it to us, so why don't we?
So that was kind of like, yeah, where that came from. It was more being on the other side, the other end of it. Like, hey, we can find girls
Hmm.
and make money, and you know. So yes, to answer your question, but if she had a lot of sexual partners, I don't know if that. I don't. I'm gonna say this. I don't think they were all sexual partners. Maybe that they tried to get with her, or and she would say no, or I don't think she was messing around with all of them.
Listen,
And
I
that's
know my.
sad that they have to put her under that light, because
It is, and it's also a way to take off the pressure off of them as well. Because as a public, you care about a person, but then you find out maybe that they're like a sex worker, right? I mean, that's why there's so many unsolved cases for hookers or prostitutes, because the public just like, oh well, look what they did, and then we stop caring. Which I think is
right.
wrong.
Yeah, just like a drug addict that was killed on the side
Right.
of the road. They're like, oh, they were a drug addict. So it's kind of to
Yes.
sweep under the rug kind of thing. But I don't, she wasn't that type of person. I don't think that she just needs to be swept under a rug like that.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was very sweet,
Right.
very sweet person, genuine. Like, I would hate, and I have a past too. I would hate if I passed away and that's what I was known for, that I had a lot of sexual partners. And
Right.
that's really sad.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons this driving force is behind, because, she's alive for 18 years. But all we hear is she had a lot of friends and a lot of partners, wink, wink. And so who
Right.
knows who did it,
Right.
So, yeah, I
But
just
just
know that.
because you're hanging around a male figure doesn't mean, obviously they're your sexual partner. I think she was a lot like me, just got along more with guys than she did girls.
Yeah, because I had a lot of girlfriends, and I'll tell you, girls is judgy.
Oh yeah, they can be bitches, man.
Yeah,
And
I
I
know.
was bullied in middle school, like, yeah, a lot, a lot. So I get
Which
it.
middle school did you go to?
Virginia Beach Middle School.
Oh man, yeah, I've heard there's a lot of bullying there. I hated the middle school I went. I went to Lynn Haven, the other one.
Okay.
It was the worst school. I moved here in that around that age. That was the worst school I've been to my whole life. About
Yeah.
the bullying and people
Yeah.
just being crazy to each other.
Well, and I think because I was, and it's so weird. Everyone's like, you were shy. Because if you know any of my friends now, like, they're like, you're loud and you're proud and you love to joke around and party and whatever. And like, when I was in middle school, I was the shyest. In elementary, I went to WT Cook, before they tore it down and rebuilt it. And then I went to Virginia Beach Middle School, and I was in track, kind of not by choice, but the coach picked me out and was like, you. And Tawana.
You.
Yeah. Because we had, what was it called? Was it like field day where you went through all the
Uh-huh.
things, and one of the coaches like saw me and my best friend and we're like, you guys can really run. Like, hey. So we did the long distance and sprint. We were sprinters and long distance. Even though I didn't want to get into a sport. That was kind of the, hey, I did a sport kind of thing.
You recruited, right, for your skills.
Yeah, I was. And I smoked cigarettes at that time, so I don't even know how I ran long distance, but
Yeah.
I did it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Shelly was into sports too. She was really into. I think I knew people that they said that she was on a soccer team.
Yeah.
Was one. Did she
Yeah.
mention anything other interests that she had, athletic related or hobby related? Did you remember?
No, and I'm gonna say this because I don't think we had those kind of conversations just because of the environment we were in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's not like, hey, I went to Disney World when I was a kid, or, I think it was more just because we're in jail. It was, just a different environment. The conversations were different. I don't think it was really trying to get to know her favorite color and, all of that. It was more when we get out,
When I get out, right? Right.
we're gonna do this, and this, and yeah.
So were you guys were you guys individual cells, or did you have like a partner bunkmate?
No, we
How
had
was it set up?
individual.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, some were combined, I think. No, because my memory's kind of like, it's kind of meshing together
Mhm.
where, because I was more upstate than I was in, well, I was in and out of juvenile detention. What was that? TD, TDC?
Uh-huh.
Is that a name?
Yeah, that's a name. Yeah.
Okay. That's where I was in and out like probably 10 times or more. So I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, she didn't, obviously we didn't say anything specifically her interest or any of that, just other than, us getting out and moving on.
Moving on. That's great. Okay. So Shelley did she ever speak about hating or wanting revenge on anybody or having any kind of enemy or
No, not that I can remember. No, I don't think she was that type of person.
so what would you describe her more as like a carefree, silly, fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously with some small bad intention just from, the group we were trying to put together. And
So whose idea was it for the group? Whose idea? Because what
I think it was collective.
when she died, she did have a name carved into her, or like a letter carved into her skin.
Did she on her, was it on her
So
foot or hand?
it was on her, I think her arm. Um,
Okay. Mine
it
was on
was a
my
letter
foot.
B. Yeah,
It was a B.
yeah. That was a name of her boyfriend. So,
Oh, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
but so was that like a thing like she liked to do? Then was or whose idea was to start? Let's do these homemade scar tattoos.
I don't know. Well, obviously we didn't have access to ink.
Right.
And I think, in being in middle and high school, we used to do that eraser trick to our top of our hand where it would burn the top. I don't know if you've ever did that.
Like, no,
You would
please
just,
describe that to me, please.
no, okay, I guess we were just weirdos.
I'm sure someone else out there is gonna be like, "Oh yeah, wait, what is it? What do
Yeah,
you
we would
do?"
take, I don't know, we would take the tip of the eraser on our pencil and just rub it at the top of our hand
Uh huh.
really fast until it tore the skin off.
Oh my god.
And then it would leave a scar. It'd like scab over and heal and then like leave a scar. I don't know.
Wow.
It sounds so
Never knew that
stupid
was a
now, right?
thing.
It was a thing. Yeah, I don't know why we did it. But yeah. So I think it was that kind of concept, and we had access to, maybe a paper clip or I don't. remember what it was. Yeah, that was funny. I thought maybe all three of us did. I'm pretty sure my friend Tawana did as well. I'll have to ask her. But I still have the scar
I was
on
gonna
my
say,
foot.
can we see it? Can you send me a
I
picture of it
mean, it's
later?
kind of, I mean, of course I'm older now. There might be like remnants of it. Um, but it wasn't that deep. So it was like, surface
Right,
scar.
right.
Um, math is hard. How many years has it been?
Yeah, it's, if you're 14, probably like 23 years, right?
Yeah. My feet has grown since then. Yeah.
Right. All right, things migrate. All right. So whose idea was it for the group, and like who would you say was the leader? Was it a team decision? Like who was the?
I think it might have been my friend Tawana that was leader. Tawana, I'm sorry if you listen to this and it wasn't you.
I got an
Um,
idea, ladies.
but yeah, I think it was just a collective. I don't even know how it sparked up, really.
Raha.
Um, yeah, I can't give you much information on that.
All right, no problem. Okay, so what do you think? Do you have any idea who you think might have did something to her? It killed her.
I know it's definitely someone she knows.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of different groups back then. Not everyone knew everyone. Um, I don't know, but I know it's someone she knows or messed around with.
And why do you feel that way?
Just because of the things she was doing
Mm-hmm.
um, at that time. Maybe she screwed someone over and they're like, you know, I'm going to end your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think at one point she did sell drugs briefly.
Just weed or something else?
I don't remember. And I think maybe that's why she was locked up. Maybe she got caught with it. I think if my memory serves me well, I think that's why she was incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
I might have, yeah, I know marijuana for sure. Um, maybe she screwed him over. Maybe she didn't, give them what they liked. Um,
Yeah.
you know, maybe sexually or with drugs. So
Right. Right.
just being in that, I'm surprised. I'm 37 years old. I'm surprised I'm alive. Like from the stuff I did,
Mm-hmm.
I could have easily. Walking the streets at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Drinking, smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing. I mean, I I've been blessed to be able to to get locked up and be locked up for a long time and turn my life around.
Right.
Where sadly, Shellie was not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a theory that Mr. Bobby did say. That he also believes it could have been like a hit out on her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bobby's her boyfriend,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or what was? Yeah.
Fiance. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyone else that you guys knew besides your friend Tashwanda? Anyone else that you guys mutually knew that you knew of?
Her name is Tawana. I was like,
Tawana, sorry.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, who is that? Um, I can't remember if, yeah, I can't remember if some of my high school friends that I knew from middle knew her. Because I can throw names out there all day. I just don't know if they had any interaction, because a lot of my friends I grew up with, like in the where I knew from elementary and middle, they weren't in trouble like I was. They were either pregnant or, you know, being a normal teenager, not getting in trouble like I was. Being on, I was on house arrest. I cut it off at first Colonial High School one day and ran away.
Uh-huh.
I was like, fuck this school. Excuse my language. So, yeah, I wasn't really good friends with the friends I grew up with at that time, other than Tawana, because we were getting in trouble together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure there are some that, shared the same class, just like I did. Um, I don't know how close they were to her,
Right.
or if it was just kind of, she's a classmate, kind of how she was to me in the beginning before I saw her in juvie. I'm like, hey, you were in my class.
Right. You look familiar.
Yeah. Because she has a very familiar face. Once you see her
Yeah.
once, I mean, that's it. It's not like, I know you from so, no, she has a very distinct face.
Yeah.
Just like I have a very distinct voice. If someone heard me, 4
Well, you
aisles
had that
down at the
voice at
grocery store,
14 too?
I've always had a deep voice. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's like, "Oh, you've been smoking cigarettes your whole life," and I'm like, "Yeah," and my voice has always been deep. I Even if I quit smoking, I still sound like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, anything you'd like to share to tell the public about Shelly? Anything you want them to know, or anything like you said, you already kind of said what you hope for happen, but anything you'd like them to know or remember about Shelly?
And she was very kind. Very kind. I mean, and she didn't deserve what happened to her, especially the way she went. I'm sure she suffered. Um, being beaten to death is not a quick way to go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, really, yeah, I wouldn't wish that on any of my enemies. Not that I have any. Um, but yeah, she had a good heart.
Anything you remember? What made her so kind? Was it listening? Did she give you stuff? Like what made you feel like she was such a kind
She just had no ill intention. Like, sometimes you meet someone and you're like, they'll backstab that person, or they'll gossip about that person, or she was never like that. Or not from the time I knew her. And I'm not like that either, so it was good to connect with someone that had kind of
Mhm.
the same, views and emotions, because I don't like backstabbers or people that talk, gossip and gossip girl, mean girls. Um, yeah, so I
So you
think
felt like
that's,
you could really trust her, especially
oh
compared to
yeah, for
other
sure.
other girls that you've interacted with.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in that environment, you got to pick and choose who you talk to.
Right. Did you ever remember Shelley talking to like any of the got close to any of the guards or any like kind of mentor there while you were there or anything?
Not that I can remember, no. Because, like I said, I was there for a brief time. I was in and out, in and out. I mean, yes, I remember this that core of what, when we hung out, when we put together this group. But then I think I was transferred shortly after. Yeah.
All right. Well, any questions you have for me or the podcast that I can answer for you?
Are you interviewing other people from First Colonial High School?
I have listen. I have tried a lot. Most people say they'll think about it. Because a lot of people they comment on this because it comes up here and there periodically. Like oh, an update, and they'll say like, "I'm so sorry, I miss her so much, I'm sad." And then I'll ask them, "Hey, you want to talk?" Like, I really didn't know her that well. It's like,
That's well, yeah, and it's easy to say, "Oh, I miss her." I ran into her, and that might be the only person they have known that had passed away. And it's easy to be like, "Oh, yeah." I miss her, and it was so sad what happened to her, but never really hung out with her or
Exactly.
talked to her. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I get it. And being that we were all so young, it's all high school friends. Shellie wasn't able to be an adult and actually, well, not that she wasn't an adult, but, have a child, and then you get to meet, you know, other children that are playing with their kids, and then you get to meet their parents, and then you have, it grow your community ends up growing. The amount of people you end up knowing expands, as you move into your 20s and 30s, and
Yeah.
she didn't get that chance. So I think there might be a lot of people that were like, yeah, I know her. Maybe saw her at a party, or, you know, maybe they were locked up with her too. And, um, or at school and just kind of in passing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's really trying to see, like, they're painting this picture of good girl gone bad, right? But I'm not seeing when we decided to start exploring, crimes or doing, non-traditional things we expect American teens to be doing at that time. So I'm still looking for that. I'm
Yeah.
still looking for that answer there as to why.
Yeah.
When did we switch and why?
Right. And I could probably look back on my own records and see when I was there. Not, it would probably give you a timeline of when she was there, but obviously the why she was there is going to be tough.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, our parents had all that information, but I'm sure they didn't want to release, and again, putting her in that light,
Right.
that kind of light, because they loved her. I didn't even realize that wasn't her, like, biological parents,
Right.
because it just seemed so normal, mom, dad, and when he said she was adopted, I was like, huh. I mean, if she told me that, it flew out of my mind, because I'm like, whatever, you don't act like you're adopted.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Right.
you would have thought I was adopted, just from being how rebellious I was. I was just, a bad kid.
Yeah, and then that's really what only thing we can assume now is why the rebellion is the adoption, that, trying to find her identity, or feeling rejected, that, someone didn't want you, or
Yeah,
whatever the circumstance was.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, looking for people that can try and validate why,
yeah,
and how she felt about being adopted. Really.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I didn't know her parents. I never met her parents. Um, and it almost makes you think, because and I could say it for myself, daddy issues, right? You're drawn to a male figure, and sometimes in the wrong way.
Mhm.
Was she having issues with her dad? Um,
Right.
and I'm sure her boyfriend or fiance, excuse me, could have answered that question. I'm sure he was over there a lot.
Yeah, not
Not that he wants to answer.
sure. Yeah, just, yeah, not sure how much, the parents, were involved in her, like, who she was dating, because it seemed like, they're obviously trying to pull her, to this rich, fully white, I'm gonna say it,
Yeah. No, I get it. I
culture
get it.
that she's from. And, she's hanging out with white rappers and black folks. And I think there's also
Yeah.
some underlying racism here, as well as sexism,
Right.
that
Yeah.
the
I was there
public
too.
is,
Yep.
trying to portray her as, like, well, when you're around them, things happen.
Right. Oh
So,
yeah. Many times my mom told me not to hang out with a lot of different people,
mhm.
and
Right, right.
yeah.
Especially back then, it was just like it wasn't even it wasn't even racist. It felt like back then the way they
Right.
said
It
it.
wasn't.
Right.
It was just, well, yeah. I was just, just that group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to find that Mr. Slushy Matt at 7, the last person that knew her to see her alive.
Well,
Yeah, I'd love to speak to
so
him.
she did actually go into that 7-Eleven.
Yes, that's confirmed.
Yeah. So sometime after that.
Right. Right. All right. Anything else you'd like to say? I want to thank you first for coming on to the podcast. But anything else you like? Any announcements you like to make? Anything you want me to plug for you? Anything?
No, I mean, I appreciate your time. Are we well, and let me ask you this. Did you went to First Colonial High School? What years were you there?
The years
Or
that you
are
were
we the
just
same age?
we were the same age, yeah, 01 to 05, right? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we were in ninth grade together too at some point.
Yeah. I mean, the school wasn't that big.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'm sure you don't recognize me.
Don't. I
Yeah.
know ninth grade was a rough year for me too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't get my footing in until 10th. All right, y'all. Well, thank you for under the tree. I'm probably gonna do an outro for this, but thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And an outro I shall do. Hey guys, thanks for listening to that episode. Much appreciated. I appreciate it. Shelly's appreciates it. Jennifer appreciates it, I'm sure. What did we learn today, boys and girls? Stop putting people in boxes and judging them based on their past mistakes or problems or mental health issues. We all got them, right? Nobody wants that to follow you around, no matter what happened to you. Gosh. But we can do this. We can do this. We're hanging in there. As a reminder, y'all, we are accepting donations here. There's a link in Spotify. I think on the main page it just says support, donate. You can donate monthly, whatever, $1. Come on, we'll take $1. Why not? Thanks for that really shows you care. If you give at least 99 cents a month, I'm sure Spotify takes 80% of that, but who knows? Who knows? What else we got on the docket here today? Oh yeah, you might be able to see me on a Twitch stream soon. Been streaming with my brother. Trying to get some family fun going on in there. You can follow us at Sibling Halflery. I'll put the link in the description as well. If you like watching people do games and stuff, this isn't my only endeavor. All right, don't forget, still a comedian, and I guess I'm an actor now too. Yikes, that's not fun. But I know, right? Read someone else's words. Lame, but it's a job. Funny thing is, my wife went to school for theater and she really likes acting. And I think she's a little jealous. I get all of these stupid roles. And I'm like, well, it's a job. Maybe we could trade places in another lifetime world timeline. But, meh. All right. For the podcast goals, we have I'm going to get some more guests on here. People have been reaching out to me. I've been reaching out to them. So it's still going well. We're still got some juice. We still got some fire and some Kindle and some stuff to keep on trucking. But I want to thank you all again for listening and supporting us with that $1, right? Shit, I need that. Come on. I mean, how long can I go? My ADHD can only really, support me to a max amount. Then it's done, and then you might not see me again. Just joking. I'm too invested now. Every time I listen, every time I learn something new about Shelly, I'm like, what? I gotta go deeper. Ha 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 ha. If I'll probably post again next week. Might take off for the week of Halloween. We'll see. Halloween's a big deal in my house. We really enjoy that holiday. So wait, it's September. God damn it, Ian. Listen, I don't even know anymore. Right? I have no idea where it's happening anymore. All right, I'm gonna be done. This has been your ramble. You guys missed a good ramble last week and the week before that. So you're overdue for some Ian Bryce rambling. Actually, You know what? Yeah, you are. Stay right there. Where are you going? Man, I'm still doing that stuff at the Apex, at the Dinner Detective. Come on, see, come check it out. It's a hoot and a holler. It's like on certain Saturdays. I'm not sure, but yeah, do that. Come on, come on. It's fun. It's fun. All right. Well, I gotta go apply to be in a Regent movie. I mean, audition, as the professionals call it. Whatever. I'm sure I'll get it because it looks bad. You didn't hear that from me. You didn't hear that from me. Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you for listening Under the Tree. Have a good weekend.